Okay. Today we'll look at the controlling event flow. So right now we have seen some part of controlling where you can control the flow using. Uh, we'll start the flow using listener, and then we can control other going to other flows using flow reference, right? And also we have seen how to call using the VM connector within the flow. So we'll see on how to multicast an event. Multicast means single message coming in and you are casting it, like broadcasting the message to multiple ends, to multiple backend services. So assume there is a call coming in, and that let's assume it's a weather report. You have the weather report, you got the request to get the weather report, and whenever you make the weather report, you have to send it over to different backend systems, one for database, one for uh, a web service, one for putting it into the queue, like this different so one request has to be delivered to multiple places. In such case, so right now if you see here, this is only delivering I mean it is only one way, right? When you get the request, it's giving a response, just one synchronous flow, giving request, getting request, and giving response. And here also we are making just one call. Even though if you make multiple calls, it's all one flow, one synchronized flow. But we'll see how to just push messages, the same event, to different places, and how simultaneously they all will process. Okay. So when you, if you return to your Anypoint Studio and go to your implementation.xml, and here we'll drag and drop a new listener at the bottom, and we'll also name the flow as get all airlines airline flights. Get all airline flights. So far we have American, United, and Delta. Now this is a flow which has all airlines. So basically we'll be dealing with all of three calls we are having already here on the top: Delta, United, and American. So after you have this, go to the listener, and you know the process, and path will be slash flights, and the display name will be get slash flights. And also, even in the advance, limit this to methods to get. After that, now we'll pull and drop the flow. So once you type flow here, you have flow reference, flow, subflow, and all. Before that, you can also, there is one more thing called choice. So in the core, at the bottom, you will have flow controls: choice, first successful, round robin, scatter gather. Choice, in the right now we'll use choice, which means like it's like a clause. If clause, if one condition is successful, then that will execute. If other condition is successful, that will execute. It's like a if clause in Java, right? If this is the if 1 equal to 1, then execute this, or if 1 plus 2 equal to 3, then execute this. If not this, it is the choice. First successful means whatever the request comes in, and whichever thread executes first, then that will run. Round robin means it's a round robin fashion. That means if you have multiple backend resources, it will serve one after the other, round robin. Scatter gather in the cells, just publish broadcast all at a time, like randomly, all at a time, asynchronously. Then the scatter gather comes into picture. Mostly in all your working places, you will be using scatter gather and choice router a lot. Then round robin and the first successful. If they are using round robin, they will mention in the requirements use the round robin, and we have a requirement of round robin. If not, you will be mostly using the choice and scatter gather based on your requirements. So right now we'll be using choice router. So once you put choice, automatically there are two directions where this choice can be. Or let's go and drag and drop the scatter gather first. Delete that and put scatter gather. So once scatter gather is here, now you can drag and drop the flow references. So again, where is the flow reference? So I'll drag and drop one flow reference here and another one. We have three, right? Delta, American, and United. Three flows. Now the first one will be get American flights. We're pointing it to the get American flights flow. Here it is. So I'll select that and copy this name and also paste it in the given name. Do this to rest of the things. Get American. Now comes what?
United.
Get United. And copy this name and put it in the display name. And the last one will be Delta. Okay, after you have this, now put the flow logger at the end. Now I will test this application. So to test again, put a debug point here. Just I want to show you how this will debug. So I'm debugging the application. Save all the changes, and my debug point is with the scatter gather router. Exactly at the scatter gather router. So to make a call to this new flow, what is my URL?
Flights.
Before that,
Localhost.
localhost
8081
common
slash
slash flights.
flights.
Yes. Now application is running. I'm sending the request. See, it got here. Now let's step through. So it's going in a. It's going to all the. See, it goes to all the flows because we are triggering it simultaneously, and we are getting the response all together. See, all the flows are executing, and now we are finally getting into the logger part. And here, if you see, we have got requests from three places. See here, we in the payload right now I'm at logger after executing the scatter gather. After scatter gather, I'm at logger. At logger, it went to the three flows, American, Delta, and United, made the calls and got back the response successfully in three different linked hash maps. Linked hash maps with size of 3. See? But this is not readable format because it's all linked hash map, right? But we are getting a response. So I'll just forward this and now go to my advanced REST client and check, and it says could not serialize the object because it's of different format. It's a linked hash map, right? That's why. Now we want to what is our thought process of getting a response here now? Any idea?
No, Joe.
So basically we are getting a response which it says like could not serialize the object. That means we are getting a response as object. Now we want to get a response as something readable like JSON format, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to get a readable format into JSON now? We have done it earlier. Even in the XML we have done it earlier.
Yeah, we
Transform.
changed from Java to JSON
Yeah.
yesterday.
Correct. Excellent. That's what we have to do. We have to first drag and drop data view transform message. So to transform the message, you can call data view or transform message. These are all similar terminology. Transform message is the name of the connector. Data view is the technology used behind the scenes. Okay. Even I can go to website and type the dataview.com. There will be a different UI. It will be just like this here. I'll show you it. See here. So this is the MuleSoft ID. This is data view running up and running on the website. So here also you will put the request and you will type the data view here, whatever we are typing here. See, this one is here, that one is here, and the output is here. So you can also type dw.dwlang.fun. Then this is a data view loading. So on the top it says data view, right? This is a technology name. Okay, just to show you, eventually once you join a job and a project, you want to transform something, then you will use that as a tool for reference. So right now here we'll come and change it to let it be Java. We want to flatten the payload because there are three different things coming in. I want to flatten them. Flatten, flatten, in the brackets type payload dot payload. Okay, now let's just save this. If you want this, I can send you in the chat. Just copy paste and then re-debug the application. And also once after that we'll change the name. Now it is deployed. I'm going back, triggering the request, and now getting the responses from everywhere. Now I got a response. I serialized. When I serialized, I'm getting like how many? Seven objects, six different objects. This is what serializing does. So in this linked hash map, I'm getting the flight details, see, code and price, origin and all. Even here it says American SFO. See, I'm getting the object details. This is called serialization. We are basically combining responses coming from the all the three web services. So each web service is doing its own call outside again, get flights, get flights. All of that is happening internally. So we are serializing the object and giving a response. Now see, now this is another object, big object, right, which is not readable because this is serialized object. Let me know if you get this response. Here we'll write flatten payload as a display name. Now every time I don't want to go through all those flows while debugging, so I remove my debug point here and just point it here. So again I'll send a request. Now I want a JSON format basically. So that's why. So now I came here. When I step over, I get a payload of size this much. Now I'll say now I'll write a data view payload and evaluate. I get size of 7. Then I'll just type JSON. Now I got a response. So basically I have to put another data view here and then type JSON and then here just payload. Now I'll write here JSON to object to JSON and then save it and run the application. Any questions so far? What this is doing? Scatter getter,
Yeah, it's giving all data of all flights.
all flows. Yeah.
Yeah, all flows.
So eventually in real time, this may be calling database, this may be sending logs, this may be sending emails and different functionalities. All are happening at once. And also, or you are getting a data from database. Here you are getting data from some web service call. Here you are getting data from some other elsewhere. So but we have to combine all of it here after the scatter gather, and once you combine you have to convert it into the desired format. Here I'm converting into the JSON format. So once you have it, then it will give a response. So you might be worrying on how to get this method names. So if you Google on how to convert objects to JSON, then you will it of multiple objects, then you will see that you can use this method. If you have Java knowledge also, you can basically type the same keyword and you will find those methods and objects, then you can reuse them. So now I'm redeployed and testing the application. Now my aim is to get the response of all the flights. American, see, I got American Airlines and different flight details here, Delta, and also United should be somewhere here. United. See, I got all the flight details. This is how you do the scatter gather. Okay. Any questions?
No.
If anywhere you're stuck, ask me. Now we'll do with some other same kind of thing. So I'll put one more flow here uh, at the bottom, and then just pull and push the get flights same listener, or you can basically copy this listener, control C, come here and paste it, control V, it will paste. So once you have the listener, now you can come here and then just put a toggle comment. That listener won't work anymore. So let's see a different route now. So far we have done scatter gather. What if I want only American flights? What if I want only United or Delta? So there is a condition and you have to set a condition how to route these messages, right? So for that, if you remember, I told you can use choice if there is a condition and route based on that. So choice is here, and then inside choice, I'll put the flow references. Flow references for multiple flows. This is one flow reference and this is one flow reference. We have three, right? So we'll put the
Yes.
three flow references, and one is default. Default one will be get flights here. So we'll put one more in the default. If none of the American, United or anything is called, then we can go for the default. So again, do the same thing, get American flights in the first and copy the name and paste it in the display name. One is done. Now the second one will be United. Copy, paste. Now the United Delta flights. Copy.
So so this choice and scatter gather is same or different?
Yeah, if you see, you'll see the difference now. Scatter gather, as you understand scatter gather, right? It will scatter the request to
Yeah.
multiple places and then
Yes.
gather a response and give us. So let's see what choice router does. I said that it will be based on condition. When you want request coming from here, like flight slash American, then only it has to go to American. If it comes to flight slash United, then it has to go to United. But earlier, if you put United only, it will go to United, right? Or if you put Delta only, it is going to Delta. Do you remember last session?
Yes.
Yeah. So now we want to evolve the API in such a way it should accept multiple API calls or all the API calls. So right now at the bottom, I want to go for all flights, get all flights, and since we already have the flow above, I'm pointing it to that one. Now once I have, it still shows error. See on the top, this is because it's asking where is the condition, which choice, where is your choice. So before we go into the choice, just capture the variable, because we will be sending a request here, right, slash American or something. So based, first we have to catch that variable whatever is incoming. So that's why I'm putting a set variable here. You also put, and then in the set variable, I'm putting the message as a airline, name as airline, and then even here airline, and in the value, go to this expression mode and message dot attributes dot, see, it's auto populating now, query params dot airlines. So basically here, if you understand, there will be a query parameter called airline. Okay, that equals to American. Let's assume this is the request. Now I am setting that into this, right? Now I come here on the first click on this condition when on the top, then it will give you an expression here. So click on this f of x again. Now vars dot, where is my uh, incoming query parameter is in, it's in the variables, right? That's why I'm putting vars dot airlines. Airline equal to double equal to means it's comparing the string American. If it is American, then go to this flow, and same again at the bottom I'll put expression as what is the my condition here.
United.
Perfect, United. And here the condition will be
Delta.
delta, and if not default, if none of this is incoming, it will go to this default flow. So now are you getting some sense? Like we are doing routing based on a condition. That is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's test this application again. Okay, now I'll run debug this application. I want to show you how it works. So I will first debug and then put a debug point here. Okay, now I'm triggering the application. No listener for flight. Now our application name is flights, yes, and then put a debug point here. Okay, and then send. Now it got here, right? Now it will be saved in the vars as flight airlines. Now American came in. Now which condition? First condition passed because vars dot airline here, vars dot airline equal to American equal to American. So this passed, so it goes inside, and then it goes to that flow and executes the entire conditions, and then gets the logger and then give a response. So again here response is what? Something else which is not readable. This is, it says array list. So let's try with United now. Okay, now I'll go here and send United. Now again, where does it go? To United flow, second flow. See, it's going. I sent two times, so two times it's executed. Now let's see, here United is already converting into the JSON, which is good. And now let's check the last one, which is that Delta.
Delta.
It will go to the third flow. See, this is a SOAP service, Delta service, and even that also we are able to convert and get the response. Now, what is one more thing is there? What is that? We didn't test that.
All flights.
Yeah, all flights. So I'm just sending my just something. Now let's see how it behaves. So it comes here, it goes to the default flow. See, in the default flow it goes and executes every other flow again, and then gives the response and give back the response as this. See, is it cool?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's how you learn to code here. Now, for one of the flights, I'm not getting as JSON. So I want to take care of that one also. So I'll put a transform message here after the choice router. In the transform message, again, I will put JSON, right? And at the bottom, what will be there?
Payload.
Very good. Save, and also change this to like this, something flights to JSON. And at the end, it's always good to add a logger. Put a logger at the end and then save it. Application will redeploy. Now all the conditions we have tested, it's all working fine. Just that for the American, we are not getting a proper JSON object. So we'll go and test American. Deployed, right? Now I'm testing. Now I think I should get the proper response for the American. Let's see. See, I got the proper response. All the American flights are displayed from array list to now JSON object. That is how you do it. Now whatever, no matter whatever you send here, if for every request there will be a response. Now I'll put United, I should get a response. For everything I have to get a response because this is all well coded now, properly coded. See, that's how you do the choice. Now did you understand, Kanil, what is the difference between choice and scatter gather?
Yeah,
In choice, you'll have the conditions.
condition.
Yes, set here.
But how to write these expressions every time? How can we remember?
Very easy. So basically, you're trying to send a query parameter here. This is the incoming field. You want to grab it. So where do you put that incoming field? You will put in a variable. This is very common sense. So once you
Yeah,
create a variable, you will have this variable. And how do you use that variable? Vars dot variable name. And if that vars dot variable name equal to this string, then it will go into this. That's it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, you'll get once you put your hands on coding and then think and do, then you'll get it. It's
Yes,
easy.
sir.
Yeah. Now let's look at one more thing called validate events. This is a new thing I even have not done. So here, go to add modules and then type validate. So here validation is there basically. VM.
Down, PM.
Oh yeah, already said. So pull and put in the modules. Drag and drop in the modules. Then in the versions, choose the latest version and click on add. So in the validation again, we have lot of validations. Now let's go and select is true. Is true, pull and drop before this before the choice router. So what are we trying to do here? We are trying to validate a incoming request before going it into the choice router. We are checking if the request is valid. So right now, if you see here, I sent some garbage value and it's still getting me flight details, which is a security threat. I don't want to get the details for whatever request is incoming. I have to check if it is a valid request. If it is United, only then it has to accept. If it is American or Delta, it has to accept. If not, it has to limit based on the uh, destination, at least like SFO or whatever the destination name, flight name. It has to be valid. It can't just waste my API calls, traffic, and waste of resources. So for that reason, I'm putting a validate here. Is true, right? Okay. And here, let's go and check the configurations. Now change the expression from false default expression here. False default is there, right? To expression. Change it to expression. So expression, we are writing an expression here. So I am sending you an expression in the chat. You also put that in the expression here. So it says vars.code is there, right? It has to contain one of these expressions. And one more thing here to notice. uh, Here vars.code is already there on the top. Set code. Here we are taking message.attributes.queryparam.code equal to it is putting into the code. So we want to use this again. So to use this, I am calling the flow reference because I want to check again after. If it is one of United or something, then that's okay. If it is like a destination name, then I have to pass it, validate it. So for that reason, I'm using the flow reference and calling the set code flow. Is it clear or any questions on my implementation?
It's clear,
Clear,
Joe.
right? We are trying
Yeah.
to validate now. So once you have this, is true is also there. Using the expression mode, set the error message to invalid destinations followed by the provided code. So at the bottom, once you enlarge this, right, here there is one option called error options. So what if some bad request comes? We still have to deal with it nicely, not like just send a 500 error or 400 errors. We want to show them what their error is. That is a good way of coding. So here I will say invalid destination, and also appending whatever what they are sending, right? So whatever they are sending, plus plus quotes space, and again plus plus, and then here vars dot code default. I'm doing default because earlier on the top I was put using default as SFO, so before that I want to override, that's why. So if you want this expression, I'll send you in the chat. So paste this expression here in the error message. Okay, save it. Now let's debug and test. So now my API is listening to two different query parameters. If it is airlines equal to United, it has to get only United Airlines, and if it is American, it has to get American. Or if someone sends a code, then you have to get based on that code. So I'll send United request now just to test existing flows work correctly. It went to United and got me exactly the United Airlines details, which is good. I'm happy. So what if someone sends code equal to CLA Cleveland? Now I'm sending the request. Now let's see. So here in the set variables, something is already set, which is null. Airlines equal to null. So here notice this, airlines equal to null. Okay. So will any of this choice route work? Which choice route it will go to when airlines equal to null?
It won't go anywhere.
Nothing.
By default is there, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, default will go to default. But right now I'm not sending airlines, I'm sending code. That's why I'm setting a code reference here. See, I'm all again calling a code reference. Now code reference will create one more variable. Now I have two variables. Code is CLE. We grab the code. Okay, perfect. Now we are going to the default. See, it went to the default. Now let's see what's happening here. Once it go to the default, it will try to execute all of the flight details and get us the response. So we got the response for mostly all the flights again, American, and United, which is we are looping. Our application is growing, so you have to really watch out on where it is going now. Still, we have a loophole here, right? So for that, at least now let's send a request. No, that's not our priority, but we have priority right now. We coded because we want to restrict unnecessary calls. So right now I'll send something like this one, and then send the request. It comes here. Now anyone can guess what happens?
Destination error.
See, yeah, is true, because in the is true, I am only accepting SFO, LAX, Cleveland, PDX, and PDF. Only these codes has to be valid. Rest of the codes I am straight away rejecting. So I am sending the response to my application invalid destination JKL. See, that is what the validation does, and it's working perfectly. Now we can continue to our next steps. Makes sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now since my application is validating and doing all of it, now I'll go to set code here. and then I don't want to do default SFO anywhere. Because of only this reason, I'm defaulting it to SFO whenever, even if I'm not getting any request, I'm still getting SFO details. That's why I'm trying to remove this. Okay, and then save it. Now let's go back and test the application again. Okay, I got application deployed successfully. Now I'm testing my application again. Now this is okay. Now I'll just send just flights. Now because both are false, both the variables are getting as null, I'm straight away rejecting the request. So this is my perfect application, right? Because nothing I'm sending here. I'm saying I'm throwing an error like invalid destination. At least send destination. You can't just send whatever request you want. Makes sense, right? Now if I send American, then I will get only American. Set variable, set code. So American is there. So is true, it will be false. So that's why we are rejecting this, because it's setting it to null. And one more thing here. So if I'll stop the application. So right now, did you understand the problem here? Right now I coded something and it's working fine only if it is the code equal to destination code. For American, for airlines equal to American, it's still failing, because the set variable for set code is not, it's not defaulting it to SFO. That's why it's failing. So that's why is true has to be true only when the code set code has is sent. So that set code will happen only when in the default, when it goes to default, right? Only in the default we have to check the code. Otherwise we are getting American, sorry, the airline's name, and we have to continue the flow. Only if it goes to the default flow, then we are checking the code equal to one of these, right? It makes sense, right, so far?
Yeah.
Now it should work for all the different types. Okay, now we'll look at the error handling part. So once we are getting errors somewhere, right? So there are different ways to handle these errors. So right now our application is still running, and for request like application equal to American, we are getting a error response. It says the get on resource failed because of the bad request. So this is happening where, to know that, we have to stop and then debug the application. So application deployed. Now I'll send the same request. Now let's see where the request is failing. So to see, we have to step through each function. So it's going to American flights as we want. Here the code, I think it's setting it back to the null. And let's see if this request is successful. Here it's failing because it says 400 HTTPS American flights. This call is not happening. Let's see if this call is successful in the browser. Okay, in the browser it's giving me response, but there it's failing get on the resources. So always this kind of problems happen in some of your locals. So for that reason you have to, if you saw yesterday video recording, I provided the solution. You might pretty much replicate the same thing happening here. In the get flights you have to create one more request. So it's American and then slash flights. So I'll just put the same thing here. Sometimes they fail because of various reasons, American and unknown reasons. Actually, we don't know why it's doing that. In the query parameter, we have to add this. So I'll just pretty much copy this code and then go to this and the query parameter and f of x and then paste this and then save this again, and you can delete this, or if you feel confident you can just you can, if you feel confident this will work, then you can just delete that instead of a second step, or you can just comment this toggle comment, then it will be there. Now let's deploy again, let's see if it works. So you can implement retry also. So one of the first thing you can do is retry. So in the edit options, in the edit configurations, you can click on this button, and here you can see the reconnection strategy. So use the reconnection strategy and use standard, and in the standard, for every 2 seconds, that is 2000 milliseconds, you can try for 2 times. Okay, and click OK. That means every after 2 seconds it will retry the failed request, and then give you it will try to get a response. If it still fails, then it fails. If not, we can retry. That is what it does. So I'm retrying again because it's actually working on my browser, the same call. So I want to test it. So once the request come, it fails, then it will, after 2 seconds, it will wait for 2 seconds, and again it will automatically call. That is what the retry strategy is. That is what the reconnection strategy is we just made. That is one of the scenarios you have to do over the uh, client side or at your workplace. You have to implement retry strategies. You have to do based on the requirements. They will say you how many retries are valid as per their description. So it failed
Okay.
now. See, now again, I think it. See, if I take this exactly, whatever it's failing, right? If I copy this and take a browser and paste it here, I'm getting valid response. Only there it's failing. I don't know why it's failing there. So anyway, it's failing. So that is one first step, retry strategy. Or you can do another retry. It's called, is that here, right?
Retry means it will test automatically.
Yeah. So one
Okay.
more, there is a try block. So in the try block, you have to pull and put this in this try block. In this try block, if this, because I know this is the place where I'm getting error. So right. So for this, for in this place, there is a special error handling block also. If you put this try block, there is a error handling block also coming with it. So here I will say, I'll put data view. Before I put data view, I have to put what kind of error message. So when you type error here, these are all the five error types, four error types. One is error handler, one is on error continue, on error propagate, and rise error. I think we have discussed this earlier, but now let's go in depth. So now what is on error continue? Here request fails, but I still want to continue my flow. So I'll pull and put the on error continue here, and here I have to give a give something like a application is failing, or you can give any response. So right now I'll go ahead and put some request like this. I'll copy this response, everything, all of it here, all this response I'll copy, and then here on error continue, I'll put a data view transform message. and in the transform message I'll basically put everything here. So if it fails, I still give a response. Now let's test the behavior of this application. Application deployed, I'm testing now. So it comes here. So every time I don't like to put a debug point there, so I removed that. Now let's see where it's going. It goes here, set variable, and then American, and then here set code. So in the code it's going null. And the only reason why it's failing is, I think in the request here, in the query parameter, it's going null. Where's that code? Default empty we can put actually. But now let's test. So this will fail now, and once it fails, now it will go to the on error continue immediately. In the on error continue, we are setting some payload here. So see here, the payload has been set, right? And the once the payload is there, it is continuing. So it's going on and then giving a response, and in my browser I got a response. This is called on error continue. Got it, right?
Yes.
And now let's just test again. I saved quickly, and then if you want, you can try simultaneously, or you can just listen to whatever I'm saying and practice later. So now let's now test that same American here. It's going inside American successfully and going here, going here. Now it's still giving a error response. And now it's going to honor continue and giving a response. This is all good. Now this is honor continue. Now how about honor propagate, right? Now I have error here, honor propagate. But for honor propagate, let's put it here only. So again, this honor continue, you can place it there, or else you can place it even in the error handler down here. So every flow will have error handler. If you click on this error red arrow, the error handler will open. So you can either put and drag and drop it here also. That is also fine. So let's test this, how the behavior will be. So if the error will happen here, it will go here or it will continue. Let's try now. Okay. These are multiple ways to do the error handling. Application started, requested, now going to American flights again. So it fails now here. Now it failed and it try, and now it came to see down again, it came to on error continue. So this on error continue will activate no matter where the application fails. Any component in this entire flow fails, then that error will come and fall into this on error continue. But if I put the on error continue only for this try block, then only it's applicable for that one. So here flow reference can cause a error, or data view can also cause a error. No matter which component causes error, it will still fall under this error handling at the bottom of the flow. If you want component level, you have to put it in a try block. Did you understand the difference? Now this will still result in the same response. I got a response. Now let's put on error propagate. Okay, now I'll toggle comment. This is commented. Now let's put on error propagate. So in the on error propagate, I'll do the same thing, like transform message, or you can put a logger and see what is the error. In that way also you can log the message. Then I'll put a JSON here, and then here I'll say
Payload? No.
now I'm putting a default customized error message error.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say American flights is down. So what will happen now? Now this is on error propagate. That means it won't continue anymore. This is the end. Here the application will stop and respond, and that's it. It will stop after that message. So let's see the behavior now, how it will do. So error handling is as important as you develop the code. Everywhere where you write the code, you have to implement the error handling also. Sometimes an application or the organization will have a strategy, error handling strategy. So you have to follow certain set strategy based on other applications, how they are using. You can use the same way also. So again, I'm triggering the flow. Here I'm getting, and then here and here. Now it fails here, and then it will go to on error propagate. So I got the response in the on error propagate. Now I put a JSON there. So no, see, now it didn't continue after it gave on error this data view here, right? The payload is still here, so it didn't continue to my existing flow. It will propagate, stop this. So it will end here, but it is not a complete end of the application or an API call. It will go back to this whatever the calling flow is. Here the calling flow reference is this one, so it will come here. And if you have any other error handling here, then that will go inside this flow again. Now I don't have any error handling here, so it will come here, and then it will go and then terminate. So bad request 400. Now I'm still getting some other response, but not the response of what I wanted here, right? I wanted this response, honor propagate. I want this response. To get this response, basically I'll copy this honor propagate and put in here. So now let's test this. Now we have an honor propagate here. Once the application here, the component fails, it will go to error handling, and in the error handling I have this on error propagate. In the on error propagate, I'm trying to display this message. Now let's test if it is doing the same behavior or not, expected behavior. So this is very important concept, on error propagate, on error continue. This will be in your certification exam also. A lot of questions on just error handling, because this is a little confusing. You have to get this clarity. So now application failed, and now it went to on error propagate of that flow. Again it will go back to the calling flow, and in the calling flow again this is an error, right? So that will go into the on error propagate in this flow. Now after this, who is calling this flow? No one is calling, so it will directly give as a response. See, now let's see, and we still didn't get the response as what we wanted. So to get the response of what we are sending, one more thing is, now you have to go inside this listener, and then in the responses it's just the payload right now. So if you see down here, error dot description is what it's showing. So here we can change it to payload. Now error response will be the payload, not the response of error details. In that way, you have to go step by step of implementing the error handling. This is not how you implement, but this is just an example to show you the flow. No one will keep a data view here. No one will give such a error response. Error response will be given with the error code. So right now, this is just a success response still. Let's see how it works. Send a request. Send a request. Now it goes to American, and then error response. So now it says text plain writer is unable to write object, because the response whatever we are giving in the payload, it's not a JSON response. That's why it's throwing error. So again we go to responses. In the response we'll go to this output application slash JSON. Now do you think it works? So whenever you want to give certain response, even though you want to give error message or attachments or the type of the data that you will all set in the listener, because all the response will go back to listener again end of the flow. So again here in the responses session, you will define what kind of responses you want. Understanding all these concepts?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good. See, now I got proper error response, whatever I wanted. This is how you write error handling. So
We
basically,
can write anything, right? Like website is down.
yeah, you can put based on the requirements document. In the requirements document, in the class customer or client side, they will give you what should be the error message, what should be the error status,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes it will say down. Yes.
Yeah, that's how
Right.
you define. Now now we have completed error handling as well, right? Now we'll look at the how to resolve the complex data mapping. Okay, sometimes you will have complex data right now the most complex thing you have seen so far is this one here. So this one, yesterday in the yesterday class part 10, you have seen how to write the data view expression. Sometimes you will have more complex like pages of data view, how to deal with those, right? So let's go to this flow in the implementation.xml, and then right click here and then collapse all. Now everything is small, right? Just like this, and drag and drop a transform message component from the canvas. So I go to my core, and here I'll have the transform message here. I'll bring and drop here, and I'll put this at the bottom. Let it be. And once you have this in the transform message view, click on this view and you will see this view, and here it's Java, and set the expression as payload. Okay, now let's just add a breakpoint here, and after the logger put after the transform message put a logger, and in our application, do we have interface.xml? We have interface.xml. So go to interface.xml. Okay, and here locate the post method here, this one. So this post method here is referencing to my flow in the implementation.xml, this flow which is highlighted. Okay, so go to interface.xml. Here post flights is there, right? Now let's debug the application. So right now if I want to trigger this flow, what should I do? I should select the post method. So I'll select post method here, and then I will remove this and then send request. It says method not allowed. I'll go back to interface and then see how this is listening to, and I think it's /API/star. So I'll put /API/flights. Now it says unsupported media type. So why it says unsupported media type? Because in the body I don't have any body, so here I have to put raw input and the mem type to JSON and just say some message colon value, and now send a request. Now it says still bad request. So I don't know if this is really going there, right? So for that reason I'll put a debug point in the post flights here, post/flights. Oops. To uncomment, again toggle comment, it will uncomment. Before this I'll cover some of the few more important topics. You know how to debug, you know how to transform now. I'll show you how to play with the file system. Okay, so in your application, um, go to file and you'll see some of the options here. So read file is something, move file, list file, details, delete, copy, write, all of these are there. Right now we'll try to write into a file. Okay, so for this application which is running successfully, I want to get flights. American flights is down. Code equal to SFO. Now I got SFO details. So wherever this is happening, like in the implementation flow, here we are, I think it's coming from here. So right now I want to write this entire response into a file on my database or on some other place. So how do I do that? To do that, again, I have to go and write here and then put at the end and use the latest module, and write file is here. Once the write file is there, this is talking with the file system. Now create a configuration. You all know how to create a configuration. You just please click on the plus button, or you go to the global properties and then enter the connection details. So you'll click on the connection and the working directory. Right now, for now, I am just pointing it to my local. Okay, so here I'll go and then in the downloads, in the student files, I'll create a new folder. I'll just name it as test purpose. In this file I'm pointing it and then click OK. So here I have to write, and the path is just slash and then the payload content. Now let's test this application. Just save it. Let's see if it deploys. So our expectation is we have to get the response and save this response into a file, 2 operations at a time. This is how do you deal with the file system. There are also some of the operations in the file, like read, list. This will list all the file names. So this will go as a listener component. Wherever you are having listener, there you can put that, or even somewhere. So here cannot write the path slash because it's already exist, and the override was selected. So here if you go down, write mode is override, so you can also click let that be default in the path or sfo.json. Okay, and now let's test this. So I'm putting a file path where what name it has to be saved as, because it doesn't know how to save that the payload as a file, right? That's why the path name has to be mentioned. Now I'm sending the request again. Now everything looks good. Now I'll go back to my downloads folder. Okay, in the downloads folder I have created a new folder, right? Test purpose. So here, see, I see the JSON file, it right. The application ran and successfully wrote all the details in my file system. Got it right?
Yes, Joe.
And there are various operations again. Create a directory means create a folder, and so there I can create one more flow where I can copy this file and then paste it somewhere else or move it. So these are all the operations you can do. And in your day-to-day work you will also deal with queues. So queue is something we have, it's called anypoint mq. So you have to download that connector anypoint mq from the exchange. So once you have that connector, you can call and talk to the queuing broker anypoint mq. So to do that, again in the exchange I'll show you how to. In the exchange, if you log into your Anypoint exchange, not exchange, in the platform. Here you will have okay, you don't. So queuing is something you have to purchase on addition. So in your company, you will see Anypoint MQ here at somewhere down. So there you will see all the queuing mechanism. Using that connector, we will send messages to the queue and get the responses from the queue. And we have already seen the database and VM queues. Anypoint MQ is similar to that. So right now I added Anypoint MQ. So you have to again drag and drop that MQ from here to this palette. Then you can add that send, listen, wait, and all. And I want to show one more thing. Yeah, schedulers. So schedule is something here on the top. This acts as a listener. So at particular time, so at this schedule fixed frequency, so every 1000 milliseconds I have to trigger this flow. So right now I'll put 10 seconds, or I'll put 1 minute actually, or 30 seconds. I'll put 30 seconds. Every 30 seconds this application has to be triggered. And do what? I want to transfer the first I will put a logger. So I'll put a logger. It says schedule started. Okay, scheduler started. And then what it will do, I'll try to move the file from one location to another location, which is present in the here sfo.json. So for that reason I use the move connector, and the connection configuration is already there. And the source path, so I'll go to my downloads, and I'm pointing it to this folder, open. And to the target path, where should you move? To another folder. To move to another folder, I'll go ahead and create one more folder here. Its name is new test purpose. Okay, and create, and I'll open. So now source and destination are there, already there, right? Now it's all there. Now I will put one more logger at the end, and here I'll say find mode successfully. Okay, now I'll save this. Now if you see my application, once it's saved, right, it will start this trigger and move files from one location to another location. I won't see file anymore here anymore. It will go to another folder. So let's test that. This is called scheduler. You will be also working with schedulers in your day-to-day work location. So see, once I started the application, down here scheduler started the first log message, and then another log executed, and then it says file moved successfully. So I'll go here and test. Hey, where is the other folder? The folder is deleted also. In the new test purpose, it moved it. The entire folder it moved. See, sfo.json is inside this. Now again in 30 seconds, it's checked again, and it says that file doesn't exist. Test purpose. So that way it failed. So this is how the scheduler works. You understand, right? How to move files and all.
Yes, Joe.
No doubts.
No.
Okay, very good. So that is how, and also scheduler will work in many ways. Like you can pull messages from folders like this, or you can pull messages from MQs, VMQs, check the file system, pull the data from database. And if you want a trigger to happen at certain frequency, then you use this scheduler. Not only every second or every hour, every day like this, but you can also change it to fixed cron expression. Cron expression means in the online you will see there are many cron expressions. So if you want to run the scheduler every Monday at this time, then it will run. Or if you want to run every week twice, or every month, every day, or every once in a year, all this can be expressed in the cron expression. So if you go to Google and type cron expressions, you'll get whole list how to write a cron expression. See, not this, I'll show you the best one. So here if you see, here it will generate cron expression for us. So here I wanted to run my flow every second, no, every I want to run it every day, and or every month, once in every month, and on a specific month also you can select. I want only on March, June, September. I want only to run on these days, and also every on those days. So the cron expression for this will be describe expression. This will be my expression. So you copy this cron expression and paste it here, and this will run just as we saw on those days. Or if you want to run every 23rd hour and 21st hour, so on that day, on the 23rd hour of this month, it will run. Or every minute, which minute exactly, on 59th minute it has to run on March, June, September. And days, which day, it has to run on the first of every month. Okay. And how many years it has to run? It has to run till these many years, or any year. Any year is fine. So my cron expression now will be like this. And which second? Exactly at the 59th second it has to run. So my cron expression will be this now. So if I copy this cron expression and paste it here and enter the time zone as EST, CST, or anything, this will run exactly as per that schedule. This is the cron expressions in the scheduler part. So here this listener is not anymore a trigger. Scheduler is the trigger here. So there are many triggers like this. Okay. So we have some more time left. If you guys have any questions, I can explain those topics. Or else we have covered pretty much all the important topics so far.
Joe, I have a doubt. What is the difference between consume and publish and consume VMs?
Okay. Here we have publish and consume. So if you mouse over, right, just a mouse over on that, it will give you description. Publishes the given content into a queue and then awaits up to the queue timeout for a response to be supplied on a temporary reply to queue that this operation automatically creates. So it says publish consume means it will publish and then wait until the consume message consumes, else it will time out.
Okay. And the publish?
Publish will just publishes the given content into the queue, and then it stops. It doesn't
Oh,
wait for its listening, or it doesn't wait. But
okay.
yeah, publish and consume will be like it will wait for it to consume other guy.
Okay.
So it publishes the given content into a queue and then awaits up to the queue timeout for a response to be supplied on a temporary reply to queue that this operation automatically creates. So even if the queue also have such a mechanism that it says, hey, I have got the request, I've got the message, I am good. If it gives the acknowledgement, then publish consume will end that flow again. Or if the consume message is taken that message from the queue, then that will also a acknowledgement for the publish consume. So basically you will have acknowledgement for the published consume.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't be using much of VMs, very rare scenarios. And another thing is object store. So object store is something where you can temporarily save the data in your application. So here and also you can basically use it as a cache purpose. So even this application, right, in the listener component and all this. So if I go to this listener properties here, uh, so here in the palette, so if you click cache, invalidate cache. So cache is something where you drag and drop somewhere. So this is a flow, cache flow. So everything you put inside this flow will cache. Cache, what is cache? Cache means it is a place where the temporary storage will happen. Like right now, I'm sending a request, this request, and if the request doesn't change and the response doesn't change, whatever the data we are triggering, it's the same thing, right? It's the same request response. We don't have to do all these steps happening in the background. In that case, we'll put all of this into the cache memory. So this will remember the request and response, and if they are same, it will pretty much give the same response instead of following doing all these steps again. See, right now I'm doing this. Let's see how it works. Okay. So if a customer asks you to implement cache, there are again levels of cache. There are 4 to 6 levels of cache. This is just a flow level, application level cache. And again, you have to, there are different levels. There is a object store that I was talking about. You can implement cache there. And you can also implement higher levels of cache in the database. And this is just a first level of cache. Whenever request comes in, it's immediately give a response. Don't forget to read about the MUnit testing strategy video I sent. Don't forget to refer that because testing is very important part of your development.
Okay.
So right now I got a response in 8,955 milliseconds. So next time I'm sending a request, see 57 milliseconds. How is it possible? Such a drastic difference. See 39 milliseconds because the request and response are cached here because all this flow is in the cache memory. So it doesn't go and go inside this and do any of the uh, processing. It would directly give you from the cache. See 44 milliseconds. First you saw 8,000 milliseconds, right? Does it help you?
Yeah.
It's a very good thing to implement in most of the applications, but not all the applications. Sometimes wherever you're calling database, so like in here this database call, sometimes data will be new data will be coming up, and if someone is requesting, you can't just cache it and always give a same response. Here is especially it's flight information. So here you don't want to cache anything because there are a lot of differences in the flight rates and flight departure timings and many dynamic changes. So I'm just showing here because of your for your knowledge purpose how to implement cache. And object store is something you have to read little bit because it's a key value pair comparison and then storing that data into the local memory of this application. If something is coming in, you can use object store to save and compare the key and value thing. Like let's say right now I'm getting this details, right? Okay, and here the flight code is something unique. So this entire object is identified with this key component, which is unique. So if this key component is coming as a request, then I will search in my object store if this request is present among all these requests, and if it is present, I will give a green check mark, or I will say, okay, I have this, and I'll give the response for this. So that is object store. If I don't have, then I can create one of this. And when second time request comes in, right, then I can find out, okay, this key flight code has came in second time, and I can give the response from the object store, not from the process again. So object store is used for the same temporary storage, in memory storage, and also as a watermark. So assume you are doing some database operations, okay, and you are trying to implement 10,000 records at a time. So you are inserted 500 records, and the 501th record, it failed because of a field missing or some data mismatch or something, some other reason. And how does our application know 500 records has been successfully inserted, and these 500 are not inserted? You have to use object store here. You need some temporary memory in the application to remember certain steps, previously performed steps. So there it is called watermark. We'll do a watermark at the 501 record, and we'll say, okay, this record id is this guy here. So till their records has been successfully implemented, that is a watermark. Or it can be a number of records, 500 records can also be a watermark. So next time when it starts the process again, so it will start from the watermark, like 501 to 1000 it will start. So in those cases, when customer ask you to implement watermark, do not get confused. You can go in the object store and implement that. If you can YouTube, you can get a lot of videos on how to implement. Okay. Oh, I see those two dropped for some reason. Okay,
Yeah.
Varun, any other questions?
No, Joe, everything is good.
So be prepared. Start taking the calls. If you start
Okay.
taking calls, you will get to know the questions and how to answer, and yeah, you'll get good idea.
Yeah, and it's been a great learning with you, Joe. Thank you so much for it. I went through previously. I tried to learn myself MuleSoft, but I couldn't. When I started classes with you, it was very easy to learn. Everything is so clear, and your level of patience and your teaching is very helpful to us. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you, Varun, for nice feedback. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be helping you even after you got placed, or if down your career, if you have any questions on, or if you are interested to join the MuleSoft community and also make some contributions to MuleSoft, you can contact me always.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you know my contact details, and also
Yeah.
free to reach out. It's okay. We can help each other and then become better.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
All the best, Varun. I
Thank you.
hope
Thank
you'll
you.
get some
Yeah,
projects soon.
thank you so much. Yeah.
All right then.